The podcast we brew, bites and beers just for you. IT on tap, the podcast we brew, bites and beers just for you.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of IT on Tap, or the first episode of our second year.
Yay!
Welcome, Nick.
Welcome, Pieter.
In this episode of IT on Tap, we dive into the world of baselining. One of the most underrated yet powerful practices in IT and cybersecurity. Whether it's infrastructure performance, network traffic, or security posture, baselining helps you understand what's normal so you can quickly spot what's not. Today we will explore why every IT professional should establish baselines, how they can detect problems before they escalate, and the role they play in security monitoring and incident response. And of course, as always, we will chat over a unique beer during the podcast.
Yes, indeed. So, what is normal, and who is this podcast for, actually, Pieter? Because
That's a good question. And
or this episode, because this podcast is
it's for IT,
everybody.
IT in general. Yeah. This episode, I think, would mainly be focused on security, because baselining is super important in security nowadays, but also for IT infrastructure teams, because maintaining an environment, keeping it live and healthy, I think baselining also does a lot there. You have like the KISS benchmarks in which you can try to establish a baseline, and so much more.
Yeah, I don't think it's per se for like the regular at-home IT guy. You can baseline your environment for sure.
Maybe that's not even a bad thing to do.
But we will definitely focus more towards small to medium businesses and enterprise level for baselining.
All right.
So, what is normal?
Well, most of the times you ask yourself, do you know what normal looks like? And then indeed it raises the question, well, what exactly is normal? I think, but from my security perspective, normal is like the typical behavior that you see happening throughout your environment on a daily basis. Like every day you have finance people reaching finance servers, finance services, the IT people doing stuff on servers, your users accessing a certain web application, doing some actions over there, and that should be captured and then baselined. Like this is your normal.
But how long would it take an average to make a baseline?
Oh, cool question. I remember a few years ago when we renewed our SIEM system in the company, they told us that it takes around 14 days to create this baseline of normal behavior, and only then you can really start looking for anomalies.
Okay, I would say 21 days.
21? Okay.
Yeah, and I take this from a completely different angle, because habits take 21 days to create. So when you go for 21 days, you would at least know that people are in their habitual sphere.
Okay.
So they are using their habits in your environment. So you will have habitual behavior of your infrastructure, of your traffic from a security perspective, and then you can go from there. That will be your baseline.
Okay, nice.
But that's my approach. 14 days is also fine.
I think in general, the longer you wait with or let the system learn your normal, the better. But sometimes you just don't have the time. And again, I'm going to reference to the time we changed SIEM systems. It was not because we planned the change, but because the previous system broke and it was completely unusable. So we had to do an urgent refactor of the whole security fabric there, ingesting all the logs to the new system. And then we wanted it up and running as fast as possible. I mean, I remember someone at the company asked, like, can't you do it in 5 days? Like, you can, but you will have a lot of false positives in the first weeks, and it will bring a higher load on your first line of SOC analysts.
Let me guess, that was a direct colleague of me that asked that.
No.
Okay.
No, it was the boss of your boss.
The boss of my boss.
Yes.
All right. So then baselining, 14 to 21 days. Let's keep it on that.
Yeah.
So let's say IT on Tap. We are a company. We sell, I don't know, beer, whatever.
Sounds plausible.
So we have a finance department. We have an HR department. We have a production side because we sell beer. We need to brew it. We need to package it, all that stuff. And we come in as two new administrators, you for security, I will do the system administration. 21 days in, and now we have our baseline. So what does our baseline contain? What does it contain?
Well, the normal behavior. And I think the baseline on itself will not tell you a lot, especially like the security baseline. It's not the normal you want to go looking for. It's then once you have your baseline, you will start looking for anomalies. And I see you nodding no, but maybe it's different in infrastructure.
Yes, for sure. Because for me, the baseline would be, okay, so I have these virtualized, and I have a virtualized environment. Of course, it runs on hardware or even in the cloud on someone else's hardware. Now I
Nice.
know the scaling and the sizing of my environment. Like the baseline would be, okay, to run our CRM system that keeps the beers and this, like, does the warehousing part, or our ERP system that has everything. It needs 4 servers or 4 VMs, and those VMs need this amount of memory, this amount of thing. And I can already take that as a baseline, knowing that if we ever are going to upscale and we need more usage, we can just put like a template baseline for that server in production and have
Exactly.
it like that. And then we can use software as a code, like I'm blanking on the name.
IAC, you mean?
Infrastructure as a code. Sorry,
Uh-huh.
infrastructure as a
Terraform.
code, like not Terraform, but Ansible,
Ansible.
to deploy that server to be a perfect spitting image of the other ones and have it configured like that.
You're right. I'm sorry, I was laughing because spitting image makes me think of Eminem for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not a rap god, I'm an infrastructure god.
Nice pun. Cool. Yeah, but indeed, this is good stuff. And I'm guessing for you, maybe it's also important to check the baseline and see like what's the normal CPU usage that we have on
Exactly.
general, the memory usage. And based on that data, you can increase memory, increase CPU, increase storage maybe.
Yes, you can use the baseline not only to see anomalies, and I think that's where it in security becomes a bigger thing to have a baseline, but in infrastructure also the baseline is for your speed of service delivery. So when you have a baseline and you know what the components are that are in your service, to give an example here, I talked about this ERP server, but let's say we also have a server for the guys of security to play around with.
To do some red teaming stuff. Or
Yes,
purple
make
teaming.
other people's life miserable. Maybe they need like a way bigger amount of RAM memory, bigger CPU, so you have these little packages available. And instead of like a vendor coming to you like, yeah, I have this software, but it can only run on a server with this and this amount, you go more with like a packaged approach, and you can deliver those services more rapidly because you will automate those services.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it will be a
indeed.
shopping
Nice.
cart kind of approach.
And then the deployment would be done automatically as well.
Yes, with Ansible.
That would be super cool. We looked into Ansible once, but
We
I
did.
don't think anything came from it. Anyway, yeah, baselining in security works well a bit different. There, it's all about looking for anomalies, deviations of the normal. Once we have your normal behavior, then this will all be like your whitelist, and everything that falls out of this whitelist will become an alert or will have a risk score attached to it, the behavior a certain user is exhibiting. Like, for example, he uses a web application on a daily basis. This web application makes connections to a database in the backend. This will all be normal. But then once the user, for some anomalous reason, needs to connect to another database, that was an action that was not done during the time of baselining, this will be an anomaly and this will come up as weird behavior, suspicious, and then your SOC will look at it and determine whether it's benign activity or not. And then based on the classification done there, it will become part of the baseline or not.
Yes. To give a real life example on that one, Pieter already talked that we changed our theme. Now I don't have any view on my risk score as an account, but before we had access to the theme and the risk score, so we could see it. And I remember that the reason why I had access is because we had faulty lockouts and I could see it in the theme.
That was a big thing back in the days.
Yes. So we had some issues with regarding a breach that happened at our company, and we needed to reset everybody's password, but it also meant that there were like people getting locked out because of cached credentials and this kind of stuff. So it was a long week for all of us, and with that theme tool, really good to identify the proper source and to do some hunting or get like a feel where the people were getting locked from. And also there, like later on, because I had access to it all, I remember I needed to do some RDP action on we work in a Citrix environment and we have like 100 VMs for Citrix, and I needed to do a change live on the environment because something was not working and it would only start working again after the reboot during the night. So I needed to remove a folder or change a folder on every server. So I went in with a script, pulled all the server names, then connected to all the servers on my own account or on my administrative account, because we have separate accounts, like a good security. Of course,
like you should.
And I saw my risk score just bump up because I never connected to those servers with that account before. So it was all new connection and I was doing something on the file system. So it was definitely something Pieter got an alert from. I even think I'm pretty sure you talked to me about like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was still fairly new in the company back then. So I contacted everyone for every alert.
So was I.
Now I can already assess whether it's normal or not, based on who the activity was saw on. I also remember in my first months and years at the company, we sporadically do a threat hunting exercise to like find the malicious behavior in your environment that went below the threshold of this risk score in the SIEM system. Let me elaborate a bit. With this anomalous approach, looking at for anomaly detection, the user behavior detection, as an attacker, now you know that everything that you do, every action that you perform that is weird or not in the baseline will have a risk score attached to it. Obviously, not every weird behavior will get alerted to the SOC team, because then it would be just too much. So we actually calculate like a threshold. And once the risk score of a user exceeds the threshold, then it becomes an alert. So now an attacker wants to stay below the threshold and just spreads out the attack for as long as possible, right? And I remember that when we do these threat hunts, we go looking for this kind of behavior. And I think we did it like quarterly. And I came up in every single one of them. I was always the only one with the weird behavior. Like, we saw some weird activity on this account. Like, that's me again. But I can tell you, as a security engineer in the company, when you also do these red team, purple team exercises, you will always come up in these exercises. And if you don't, that's an issue.
Yeah, because then you're not doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, if I run Bloodhound in the environment and I do it for a good reason, but I still want the security team to see it, because otherwise anyone can run Bloodhound and be undetected, and that should not be the case.
Yes, Bloodhound is Active Directory recon tool, so you can read it out your Active Directory and see attack paths to certain groups, domain administrator, for example, being the most important one. So you want to close those down, but to run it, you need privileged rights and get some stuff.
Not even, actually. You just need a line of sight to the domain controller, and you need to have read writes on everything. That's it. But since the domain controller is a chatty bitch, they will always give you a sorry. Now we have the explicit tag again on Spotify. Oops.
It's fine.
But it is. So you just need. You can use an unprivileged user account in Active Directory, and you'll be able to read out everything. But to elaborate a bit on what you said, yes, Bloodhound is an offensive security tool that enables you to visualize the whole structure of your environment, and it will try to find attack paths. And actually, it is for attack path management. It's a new term coming up right now. And it does more than only Active Directory nowadays. It also connects to your Azure AD. You can connect it to GitHub. Even and lately they did an update on the database system, and now it uses Open Graph, so you can ingest all kinds of data that you want and create attack paths from it. Super cool, super interesting.
Yes, but we're sidetracking.
Yes, we are.
We are diverting from the baseline.
So nice one. So Bloodhound will light up your baseline like a Christmas tree, and it should. But that's already a nice example of a real life example that we experienced. And actually the hack that you mentioned years ago at the company, also a very cool example. Again, the attackers try to stay under the radar and not reach above the threshold score. They failed miserably because our ADR system caught the malware, and that alert on itself is equal to the amount that the threshold should be, so it immediately erases the alert. But yeah, they try to stay under the radar like that.
Also, talking about threat score and these kind of things, you also have your high value accounts that you assign a higher, or there is a higher multiplier for scores, or I don't know how it works exactly, or the threshold is lower for those accounts before they
Good
draw
question.
alerts.
One of both, but suspicious behavior will be flagged more sooner.
Like your like in our company that we set up now, or if you remember the beer company,
the IT on top.
The IT on tap company, the guy that is packaging the beer and needs to lock things into the warehouse management system is not gonna have the same amount of threat multiplier if something goes wrong, because his accesses are more limited than, for example, our CEO.
Or it should be, but you're right. Yeah. You do work in security baseline. You do work with the VIP lists, where you have special treatment for the important or overprivileged people. Often not the same.
Am I unimportant, overprivileged?
You're
people?
overprivileged. So yes, you're on our radar.
Recently, I find myself very underprivileged, but okay, other discussion.
Yeah. So baselining.
Yes, baselining. So yeah, to recap, we already established that baselining in infrastructure and security is similar but also different. I think the common denominator is that you have a metric that you take. You take the average value for that metric, and once you dip over or under that metric exponentially or like at great lengths, you will see that this is weird behavior. But also the average metric and the baseline you can use for other things as well, as providing service or saying this is our stable environment, this is normal.
Yeah, actually, I think in terms of infrastructure, you would want to know what does your environment look like at rest, like at night when there is not really a lot of active actions going on, activity. Sounds weird, but you get what I mean. Not users actively doing stuff in your environment. What does it still look like? Which services are running? Kind of like a heartbeat where you need to get your heart checked. They will also install this little device. It will monitor you for, I think, 24 hours. And then the doctors only look at the anomalies afterwards. And then they ask you, what happened here? What did you do here? And I think maybe in an infrastructure team, you do want to do the same. Like you have the normal heartbeat of your environment. And during your baselining period, you want to look at, okay, here we had a spike of CPU. What happened? Can we optimize? Is this normal? Do we need to anticipate on it?
Is this us growing, and do we need to scale? Is there
exactly?
Do we need to edit the baseline for this? Like, yeah, it's definitely in that sense. Yeah, you go with the, well, I wouldn't say in rest, because otherwise your baseline might go off when your users start working.
Yeah, but you want to know both of them, maybe?
I don't really know. Actually, I would, if I was making the baseline, I would take a regular like working day, even peak hour. I would take like 9 a.m. in the morning. I would take as a baseline, because that's going to be the value it's going to be, which is normal, that's highest. Because otherwise you will trigger your alerting when it's actually just a high load period of the day.
Yeah, true. Okay.
But I do agree that sometimes maybe, yeah, as you said, if an attacker comes in at night and starts ramping up your CPU, or
you would see it.
Something is happening in the company, like disgruntled employee that logs in, which is normal behavior.
Yeah, but the timing is off.
Or there is a software update that happened on a server and it's faulty, and it will ramp your CPU, that you at least get alerts on it. So yeah, don't always need to think about people being bad. Huh? Can also be Microsoft.
Well, I can tell you, in most occasions, it's not people being bad or having malicious intent. Usually it's human error or anything, but oh well. So I think we already established that baselining is important. It makes you able to react proactively to an incident rather than reactive, waiting for end users to complain about something. You would proactively see that, hey, memory is spiking, CPU is spiking, let's do something about it. Or, hey, this user is suddenly accessing all the shares. Usually it's only one share. Let's ask him, do you know of this behavior? Is this something you did? Oh no, it was not me. Something fishy is going on. Maybe reset the password, revoke all the sessions.
Okay.
It puts you in a more mature situation.
Wow. The term has fallen. Maturity.
Maturity, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, how you can grow into a more mature environment. Like, if you don't have your baselines, you will only be reactive to things.
Okay, let's go back to our hypothetical
company. IT on tap, by the way.
IT on tap. We are there. You are the security CISO, whatever you want to be. We are there 21 days. You have your let's say day 0. We are there. We take over the business. There is little to nothing IT wise. They have kept running just pen and paper, whatever.
Okay.
How do you start? What do you go so you can put in a proper baseline?
Phew, good question. Let's assume they really have nothing. I would start with the basics. Give everyone security awareness training for sure, because that's your layer 8. You want to have something in there to make them aware of the dangers. Install an EDR, install a SIEM solution, and start from there. And then I guess together with your SIEM solution, you will be able to get the fine picture of what is going wrong everywhere, and then you can anticipate on it. But I guess those are like the basics. And install or buy a password manager for everyone.
Okay, password manager.
Well, we already covered password, so
Yes.
I hope that all listeners knows why it's important. But yeah, EDR and the SIEM, that seems like so basic and well.
What?
SIEM. Sorry.
Seems so basic.
Yeah, but you really want it. Without a SIEM, like what are you even doing?
Have you ever explained what a SIEM is? I'm just wondering. Or can you give like a quick TLDR? What is a SIEM?
The Security Information Event Manager. I have no idea. I don't like this abbreviation actually. But the SIEM, I think we already explained it, but I'll recap. It's like the security log aggregator of your environment. All security logs from hopefully all the systems you have, or all the important systems, are sent into your SIEM. They aggregate all the logs, they analyze all the logs, and then you can do some detection engineering on there. And before, it was detection engineering was a manual job. You had to write your detection rules, like if you see a process that is called mimikatz.exe, flag it as malicious because it is known malware, and all those type of static rules. And now with the user behavior analytics, with the baselining, we actually changed the game there, and it became more of a let's see what is not normal in the environment. Let's look for anomalies, because, well, bypassing static rules was super easy. Like, you would change the name of mimikatz.exe to this is not a virus.exe, and it would bypass the whole detection rule that was created, right? With the anomaly detection, every process that runs on your environment, every connection that you make from your computer that was the first time, every login that is seen from a new IP will come up as an anomaly.
Yes.
So it's more efficient. But the SIEM system is the whole brain behind all the security events that you just push to them, and they do analytics on it. You're checking the timings?
I was checking the timing.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's from a security perspective. That's where we will start. That's how we will come into the company and establish our baseline.
Yeah.
Is by implementing security training, EDR,
SIEM solution. Password manager, and maybe a team that does the follow-up on the SIEM alerts, the MDR team or the SOC team.
Yeah,
call it
security
whatever you want.
operation center.
Exactly.
Antivirus, but that's also EDR probably.
Yeah, that is the EDR. Okay, so let's say we installed everything, we implemented it. Now we're waiting for the baseline to complete. While waiting for the baseline, maybe we can taste one of the beers we have.
Well, I was gonna say for the infrastructure baseline, I first open up the fridge and get a cold one. But yes, I also like that approach.
Okay, I'll go get it. I don't even know what you brought today, so you can start with the name.
Even I don't remember at this point. But I know it's a heavy one, 9% to be correct. But once Pieter is here, I will grab the right notes.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. Epictase? Epictase?
Epictase. Yes.
It is a cool logo though, like a Christian dude with a very scary face mask, like it's Halloween.
If there's any,
But he has the hood of a pope.
if there is any heavier music lovers, he looks like the singer of the band Ghost. So it is from Brasserie à Roulette. That was loud.
No one explodes.
It's a Belgium.
Oopsie.
So yeah, that's a peak I'm gonna have to take out. It's a triple, so it should be nice and amber blonde.
It's blonde. If you want to know the difference between blonde and amber, you can go to the website Is het altijd voor bier? There you can choose your colors now.
Ah, yes. So Pieter
Self-promotion.
had an update on his
Yeah, Pieter coded a bit. Or more like vibe coded.
vibe coded a bit.
Well, I do everything vibing right
Holy
now.
shit, you gave me more foam than anything else.
Ah yeah, now you're complaining. So yeah, I vibe coded a bit and I gave the website a little visual update. The message is still the same. It's always time for a beer.
I see. So, epictase, it's a philosophical word. Do you know what it means?
No, not at all.
So
Enlighten me.
it's Greek. It comes from epiktasis, and it means extension, and it is the progress of extension. So it means the progress from man towards God, but also the fact of dying during an orgasm. Could not be more beautiful.
What
And
kind of orgasm?
I have no clue, but I think you can fill it in. So it's a Belgium triple, 9%. Naturally spicy thanks to the yeast.
The fact
with a
of
soft and
dying
fruity-
during the orgasm
Yes.
brings pleasure and guilt at the same time.
Ha.
No, I never experienced that.
You never had that moment as a 13-year-old? Okay, got it. Yeah, we're already on explicit anyway, right? Because of
Yes,
your
indeed. Yeah, sorry.
curse words.
What did I say again?
I'm not going to repeat it. So naturally spicy thanks to the yeast and a soft fruity notes balanced and a light dry hopping. It's brewed in La Brasserie à la Roulette, as I already said, and it's a small brewery in the Pays de Collines. They started with very small homebrew kits, like 15 liters, and
that's super cool.
over time they scaled up 100-fold. So now they're doing 1,500 liters.
It's a nano brewery.
Not anymore. They scaled up, so that's very nice.
Untapped, update your brewery.
Unless 1,500 will still classify as nano, I guess. And reception is generally positive and best for those who enjoy strong beers. So Pieter, I think that is definitely you. So have you already tried it, and what is your opinion?
I only tried the foam because there really is a lot of it. I want to say that it's not my skills of pouring out the beer.
I think it's definitely your skills of pouring.
Oh,
Might be the glass.
I'm gonna no. I think it's the beer. I think it's because it was not cold when it
Well,
arrived.
on the nose, definitely I can get the fruity tones.
I actually like this beer a lot. I can taste that it's strong, but still it drinks easy. It's the taste is not super strong either, but it has quite a tone.
The funny part for me is that it's a blonde beer, but I would almost say it tastes like a dark beer, like a browner beer. But I think it's the fruity, earthy flavor.
Could be.
But it's it's surprisingly good.
It actually is.
Or surprisingly good. Of course, it was going to be good, but
The title, Belgian Intense Orgasmic Triple. I like that.
so yeah, guys and girls, epektas from the Greek epektasis, the the means of progress of man towards God,
It's awesome.
or the fact of dying during an orgasm. You can choose your meaning. So the means of progress of IT towards God. Pieter.
Whoa. What? You
Or-
caught me off guard here.
Baselining.
Oh yeah, we were talking about baselining.
See, the beer is potent. So yeah, baselining for infrastructure. Unless you still have
Baselining for
security
security.
stuff.
No. I think we covered most of security. Maybe one important thing to add here is, but most tools will do it automatically. But you want to keep learning your baseline. You want to keep updating it because normal changes, your environment changes, behavior changes. So, important side note.
Yeah, what was normal now, or is normal now, even in general world.
Yeah,
was
might be strange later.
Well, yeah, might be strange in 10 years. Might be not normal 5 years ago. So
Exactly, like for example, when you decommission a kind of service, you expect to see a lower count of connections to it, a lower usage of the server. At first, that phenomenon will be an anomaly on itself. Then it will become the normal again. And then if someone else is like after 6 months wants to connect to this system again, it's again an anomaly.
because it's finance and they want to keep it for 10 years because they need it and they need to have it still for consultation
yeah.
purposes.
Don't break
Sorry.
open my mouth. Oh, it's wow. But yeah, from a legal perspective, I get it. Sometimes you
Yes,
have
of
to
course.
keep your data. You have to keep it available.
From an audit perspective, from a compliance perspective, but
Exactly.
also from a legal perspective if you have claims.
But you want to flag on events happening on that system because you're not supposed to see any connections to it, and even one connection could be malicious. So you rather want to check it than to be sorry afterwards.
Agreed.
So baselining infrastructure.
So baselining for infrastructure. So we come into our IT on tap company. There is, maybe nothing there or the things that are there. So at first I would identify what they need. Do they need some centralized systems? I assume now they're not working with centralized systems. So we will try to get that. VMware or whatever virtualizer you will use. And then, because you don't know anything about the load or have no approach on the load, I will start out with manufacturing, like software manufacturers' recommended specs. And there as well, that will be the standard baseline. But there again, after a while, because software vendors, how do you say it, are known for overestimating sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So then you can right size your environment a little bit better. And then after maybe a year when you have right sized, then you can look like what is the average in the environment and how can I standardize my server deployments. So you can evolve into faster delivery of servers and more towards business giving a service. And then business is your internal team, IT, like, oh, I need a server and these are the specs that I got from the vendor. But this fits in this package. So we will deploy this type of server. And if then the RAM is a little bit more, then all good. If the CPU is a little bit more, all good. It's also good for scaling towards later on.
How do you define what's a good practice on the term and infrastructure? Like,
We don't do a good practice.
No. Fictional company,
We only
IT on
do
tap.
best practice.
Oh, okay. And in terms of tools to use for this, you already mentioned Ansible.
Yeah, but that's more for standardized deployment, because Ansible
Yeah,
will
indeed.
standardize your deployment. And the moment something, let's say, I create a server, I give it an Ansible manifest. So it's really a file that says, this is the baseline of the server, this is what's on there, these are the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some automatization tooling. It's not Ansible itself, but it's I blanking on the name. You have a couple.
Vagrant? I
that
know those two often go hand in hand. But
could be that it's the same. Don't quote me. I am not a professional in this. We used to have someone in the team that was really good at those things, but she left the company.
oh yeah, she was cool.
Yeah, she was
I
super
hope
cool.
she listens.
Shout out to Kelly if you're listening.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that tooling will check your baseline. So we'll check your manifest file and see if everything's still in place, and will or alert you from, hey, there has been someone on your server that thought like, I need a Google Chrome on this machine, and installed Google Chrome.
Yeah.
And then you can say like, okay, remediate, and it will delete the Google Chrome and
exactly,
build it
like
as zero.
that's like a state configuration
Yes,
check that
it's-
you can do.
Yeah, that's actually the thing with Ansible. It's desired state configuration.
Desired state configuration. Why is it DSC, the abbreviation? I remember something from back in my administrator days that was super cool. And this is how you can keep a watch over your baseline.
Yes, but of course you cannot use desired state for everything. So then you will have monitoring tooling, like enable from SolarWinds or Ninja One from
I don't
Ninja
know,
One.
Ninja One. Yeah, but those are like mainly RMM tools,
Yes.
remote management.
They also do some monitoring.
Remote monitoring and management systems. Okay, yeah, and now the second M makes sense. But indeed, yeah, that's exactly what they are. I remember in my previous company, we also used a lot of Enable with all our customers to just keep a watch over the servers. And that was mainly CPU, memory, and all the things. But once you get into the desired state configuration, and like these GPOs need to be applied, these rec keys need to be applied somewhere, then you really get to, again, a maturity level that is way higher than before.
Yeah, and then with those RMM tools, you can also do the same, like where you have risk scores in security, you can also have the risk scores in infrastructure. So on your CPU loads, you might want an alert when your CPU goes into like the high 80s.
Yeah.
Is that critical? No, it can be just a high load that is running. Someone like closing for finance, and they're running higher loads because they're closing the month. But it could be something wrong. It's therefore not something that's gonna crash the system.
No, but
then
it's
when
an
it goes
anomaly and you want to check on it.
Yes,
Like,
so you have the
what
alert,
was it?
like what's going on.
Uh-huh.
And when you know, like, for example, in some companies, they know like, oh, it's the end of the month, the finance server is getting heavy loads.
Yeah.
It's normal.
And that's actually a
not an
very good
anomaly,
example. Like, okay, so this will happen in a recurring fact.
Yes.
Every month on that day, this spike will happen. And
But if it
then you can
happens-
ask your end users, do you actually, do you feel the impact of it? Does the system
They will say
feel
yes,
slow?
but no.
Yes. Well, maybe every time this phenomenon will happen, we will just give you a little bit more resources, and then they will not feel the impact. And this is how you can anticipate
Yeah, so there you can do your scaling. But also, like, when it's not in the beginning or on that end of the month and it's in the middle of the month, something is wrong. But also there, you can have the 80% as an alert warning. And then when it goes above 90, then it's
a critical
then
alert.
it's critical. And then you need to take action. And then there is like something is wrong. But for example, where that can be for like a system that is under heavy load every once in a while, when you have systems that are more stable and run at like a 70% all the time, then maybe when they go to 80, it is a critical, because this is really out of behavior. They run normally super stable. They never go above 70. Like, then like, okay, there is something going on there. What's up? And then it could be like we had that time where one of the processes of SQL Server was hugging so much CPU that it crashed the servers.
Oops.
So yeah, and then you know that SQL, like Microsoft SQL, always loads into RAM, so it always maxes out your RAM memory anyway. But then it also maxes out your CPU because of the process. So the server just went like, nope, not doing this anymore.
I'm gonna die for a moment.
Yeah, so when you run a query, it's like slow, unresponsive, connections are failing to the database. Yeah, it was fun. But when you killed that process, everything would go back to normal.
And it's important that you can spot this on early and not wait for a call from someone telling you that, hey, the system's died. No, you were able to spot it on early because you have
exactly
this baselining, because you have these alerts and alarms, and your team will react to it proactively when the CPU reaches 91, 92%, and they will fix the problem.
Do you feel currently that, like, you've been in this company for a while? Like, I feel I saw the shift or when I started at the company, we were very reactive. Like, this needs to happen, this happened, always reacting on incidents. I think we shifted away from that, mainly by outsourcing, because we are not the biggest IT team, taking on trusted partners to do these kind of things. Also because of high step-ups in security tooling and monitoring and these kind of stuff. Also, those also make issues, but hey, look, he gets his nice line. Now I said something nice about him. He can have that. Took a year.
No, but you're right. We do
I feel we're more
cause
proactive.
issues as well sometimes from the security tooling, but we became a super proactive department in the IT department in the company, and it's beautiful to see. Like I already dropped the term maturity and the maturity level. I feel like at Lineas we went to the next level, and especially on the security level. And now I'm speaking for my own shop here. Yeah. We spent years and years installing products, new layers of security on top of what we already had. But in the last 2 years, we really spent a lot of time not buying new products because, well, budget was gone, and I mean, at some point you have enough. All the layers are covered, and it's cool. And then we went back to the foundations of what is our IT environment like, what kind of configurations do we have, and we really try to tackle on those things. And I use a lot of open source tooling because, again, not so much budgets, and you can do it with free tooling. Everyone can do this. The tool that I use the most is Ping Castle. Ping Castle is an Active Directory security auditing tool. It will check for your configuration state, and it will give you all the configurations that are weak or that would allow an attacker to escalate privileges, to find the path towards domain admin, to get the keys to the kingdom. You know the deal. All the weaknesses that attackers exploit in order to get domain admin and to deploy ransomware. And we just drilled down on the list. In the beginning, there were like 40, 50 findings that were really bad. And it would allow anyone to just escalate towards the domain admin. And we just used this tool to get to, and again, I'm going to say the word, a baseline of a state of our Active Directory that we are happy with. Like, this is something we can live with. Every environment will have risks that are present that you cannot get rid of because of the software deployed, because of the way things were set up. But once you have drilled down to the core of risks in your environment, to the best state of configuration that you have, define this as your baseline, and now the goal is to continuously check, are we still on this? And I feel like that's something that we did now in the security team, and that's super beautiful to see. Like right now, if you would set up a new service and you would configure it in a way that is not secure or following the best practices, I would immediately get notified, create a ticket, and solve it.
Yes. Would you say it's a baseline or a benchmark?
Good question. I always call it the baseline. I don't know why. Explain me the difference, please.
Damn, you got me there.
Well, if you ask difficult questions, huh?
I think a benchmark is more of a comparing. If you benchmark something, you're comparing it to others. So
Okay.
it's a general comparison.
It's
like
a baseline, because in terms of benchmarks, we're exceeding. In the Pinkcastle reports, and I don't want to self-praise too much, but you can see in Pinkcastle, when you run the report, you can compare yourself to other organizations, because all the Pinkcastle reports, they will not share data with everyone, but they send scores to a centralized system of Pinkcastle itself, which is now acquired by Networks. And well, we were very bad. We were on the right side of everything, completely in the red, exceeding all over the top. And now we're at a very good place. Like the score is, everything is green, and that's something that you don't see a lot. But this would mean that in benchmarking terms, we're doing really good. I would say that because we have defined the baseline of what are the minimal risks that we accept, and once we have an extra risk coming in because of a configuration mistake or something that's been added, this is deviating from the baseline. This is an anomaly, and we fix it immediately. So yeah, baseline.
The anomalies that you like, okay, let's say, so your baseline is ever growing, ever expanding, or ever changing, not growing.
No, decreasing.
Wow.
You don't want the risk score to grow.
Yeah, okay. Baseline is always changing, as we said, like, or, wow, he's gonna open a second one. That is risky. Yes, go for it.
Okay. I wanted to hide it in your noise, huh? Like not exceed the threshold.
No. It was gonna clip anyway. So, as we established, baselines always changing, always always growing, always growing with the business, or changing with the business. That's maybe the better way to say it. But then you also said, like, yeah, there are things that from a security perspective are risky, that we cannot mediate. Like, there are things that are on the border, and I think we've already talked about it multiple times. It's the tightrope of usability versus secure. So I think
Yeah.
then you come with, do you feel like the security baseline is always tightly accompanied with a risk register?
Yes, and you do want to have a risk register. I mean, it's okay to have these risks in your baseline. You will always have them, but you want to be aware of them. If you're not, then what are you protecting yourself against with? Again, what does normal look like? These risks are normal for us because we have them and we cannot get rid of them. Think about a certain software that requires unconstrained delegation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's there. We use the software. It's baked into our whole environment. And this is, by the way, a fiction example. But this is something that you want to be aware of. You want to know it. And if you ever see weird behavior on that account that has unconstrained delegations, well, as long as it is delegating to accounts that you know it is supposed to, all is good. Once it starts delegating towards domain admins, weird, suspicious. But you want to be aware of it.
So you could say, like, if you're a Formula One driver, your goal and what you need to achieve is to win races. But you accept the risk that something can go wrong. A metric can be exceeded, a metric can go wrong, and you can crash.
Well, yeah, and I mean, that's always there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you just accept the risks that
Yes.
come with it. And
yeah, and that's something difficult. Like when I started in security, I tended to not accept any risks. Like, no, I want to solve them all. But some are just not solvable, and then the better approach is to accept it.
I wonder, like, because I think I have the same thing as you. Like, when something is a risk, when something is an issue, I really want to solve it, and I want to see what is the best. But yeah, I have a really hard time, like,
Accepting risks.
accepting it, and I don't know how people do it. The risk register and assigning the risk register, I think it's inside of a company, and yeah, we are all kind of responsible for filling the risk register. I always feel very gonna get very open here and vulnerable. I feel a little bit like
Do it.
I feel a little bit like I failed when I need to go and say, like, okay, hey, look, I identified this risk, and yeah, we're gonna have to accept it, like, or we're gonna have to put it to the board to get it accepted, because then it means, like, I saw this, I looked into it, and within the rules and regulations and form of the business, I cannot fix it.
And I get it. It's a bit like you came, you saw, but you didn't win, and it's sad. But sometimes that's how you gotta play it, and you gotta play the long game, and you have other fires to.
Yeah, exactly. So
Distinguish.
I get over it, though.
What?
I get over it. It's not that I'm still crying about the risks that I put
No,
in.
but then I have the same. But sometimes your effort is better put into some other place. And again, once you know about it and once you have baselined the normal, even on the risks, you can still try to find anomalies there. And from a security perspective, I think that's more important than try to change the whole way the thing has been set up, because it would take you months to change the behavior, to change the setup, to change the software being used in order compared to let's accept the risk, let's record what is normal, and then let's try to alert on the anomaly behaviors.
Exactly, but I think there is a baseline is very strong, because when you accept
Indeed.
the risk and you know what is normal, even with the risk included, you will still see anomalies.
Yes, Yes, indeed. Damn, that's this is a strong episode. I feel like the baselining is really.
You're talking about the beer or the episode here?
Well, both now, because the beer is also strong. No, but I actually like the topic, and I mean, in all honesty, and Nick and I, we were even today in the office, like looking at each other and. What are we gonna talk about today? We weren't really set on a real topic yet, and then I don't remember. Was it me who said baselinings?
I think so, but I've been working.
You've been working on your benchmarks.
Yeah, baselines.
And that put me into the idea. And actually, I like it. Baselining is super important in all aspects.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like it's. How do you say? Measuring all, like, trust is good, but knowing is better.
Trust but verify.
Yes. So knowing what is normal in your organization and having that baseline to go off is something that is so crucial.
Yeah.
And I think you can apply it from the smallest company to the biggest one. So
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't know what normal looks like, how can you ever know when something's wrong?
So Pieter, we had this conversation now. We talked about baselines. If I tell you now, what is a baseline? How is it construed? And what is tightly, like, recap for me.
Yeah, don't do this to me. I had 2 beers. You only had 1.
All right, so I will do the recap then. I will take it on me. So baselines, basically, it's what is normal. That is the sentence. If there is something that you take away from this episode about the baseline is what is normal, or what do you define as normal? That is your baseline. And then everything that goes below or above, most of the time it will be above, is an anomaly.
Yeah, I don't see how you can go below normal. 0 activity, but that would be an anomaly too.
Yes.
Sorry, continue. Yeah, we're doing very great.
Next time we'll have less strong beers and we will not let Pieter take a second one. So basically, yeah. So you look for the anomalies. You're tightly together, like it can really optimize your service delivery from an infrastructure perspective. Also from a security perspective, by the way, because you will find security risks way faster, or security anomalies way faster with a baseline.
Yeah, I wanted to interrupt you, but you're doing the recap.
No, you can interrupt, And what we also included is that it's very tightly tightly embedded. Wow. With the risk register, because when you have risks in your environment and you accept those risks, they also became part of your baseline. So you wanted to interrupt me, Pieter? Now is your time for glory.
No, we've already gone past the point where I could interrupt. But no, it's true. Once you have your baseline, like in terms of security, once you deviate from it, you can react much faster. You have the desired state of your environment. If something new is being set up, usually it takes a few months for the security team to find out when there are weaknesses with it. And it would usually be like with a purple team exercise or red team exercise from their side. And it's good that you can know it this way, but if you have it continuously monitored, and you have set up alerts for the deviations of your desired state, you can react in a proactive way, and this is where you want to be. The maturity scales with it. It's amazing.
So baseline makes you more mature.
Yes.
And
yes,
Spectas will. And now I need to cheat. Progress of a man towards God.
Okay.
But also the fact of dying during an orgasm.
Oh god, yeah. Well, it is pretty good beer. Damn.
It is. I wonder. I'm really. That's the question I have in my mind right now. Which of the two is Pieter going towards now? I guess we will find out in the next episode of IT on Tap.
You will find out tomorrow.
But you guys will find out in the next episode of IT on Tap.
And I think with this we can wrap it up. Thank you for
Of course.
listening.
Thank you for listening.
Well, see you again next month.
Yes.